left side, right side, and hazards. Looks like we've got a problem. So this here is part of the family. It's my 1991 850i. And in here we have all of our relays and so on. Now they don't normally come with the names written on them. I've done that. But over here, this one, this is our hazard relay. And these are very common to go wrong. And even just looking at it now, I can see it does look a little bit corroded. Now I've replaced this before. I had an issue once, I think, where one side maybe stopped working. Turns out that these hazard flasher relays are the same used on an E36, and I did have a spare E36 one. That's the one that's there in front of us. But I'm guessing we have a bit of an issue with this. It might be water ingress, but quite commonly it is also cracked solder joints. So let's get it open and have a bit of a close look and see if we can spot what's gone wrong. Now these are quite a clever relay. Everything is self-contained. So we have the inputs and outputs for our different lights and our triggers for each side, and of course the hazards. I in fact have even used one of these on a Land Rover Defender that was getting an engine swap and a loom swap. And after getting rid of some of the modules, they had no indicators, so we wired in one of these and it did the job. Inside of these there's a bit of electronics, something to control the timing for the pulses. So it's not like your old-fashioned ones where it was heating and cooling a strip. These ones are a little bit more digital and smarter, but that does mean they can go wrong a little bit more often. Now to get him out of the shell, we're going to need to poke at this clip and this clip over here, and then we should be able to slide the insides out of the case. And with the case off, we can have a look inside. So we do have two separate relays in there, and we do have some electronics, and there's a little chip there. Wouldn't surprise me that's got something to do with the timing, little transistor in the middle, some resistors around, and sometimes then we can have cracked solder joints around here. So I'm going to give them a little bit of a clean up first and start checking some of those components. We are going to give it a test now and see what happens. So main power is in here, main ground is there, and this one are our triggers for our different lights. So if we go in first and I hit this one, we will see the bottom relay starts clicking, and then over here that's the top relay. So that is both of our sides working as normal. Our previous connections were giving power into the two trigger pins. You can see one there marked in blue, one round the back, and then pin 9 is the one that triggers the hazards. That's this other smaller little pin up here. Now for pin 9 for the hazards, it's activated by a ground. So I have this probe switched to a ground now, and let's see what happens. Right, well that means that this seems to be working okay. That's now doing both of these at the same time. So I'm guessing we have to carry on troubleshooting, maybe looking at the hazard light switch. Now if you have problems with these are the kind of things that you want to be checking at. So these are our main solder connections in, these ones and these ones up here. You're generally looking for some of the bigger connections, as they're the ones that can crack. So I would recommend, if you're getting one of these out for a refurb, touch each one of these with a soldering iron. You should be able to see all the solder melt, and then it'll re-solidify and make a nice clean joint again. So none of these appear to be cracked. Everything on this seems to be working okay. We have a couple of diodes in there, they're working fine. Capacitors, no sign of any bulging on those. If there is any issues with those, you'll often see the top of this will start to dome, or you might see again around the bottom, you might see traces of the electrolyte leaking out. A couple more diodes hiding under there, but everything on this seems to be okay. So let's try it back on the car and see what happens. That is our relay back in. The next one in the line is this crash relay. So this one here just gets a signal there from your indicator stalks, and that puts on your indicators. The hazard lights though, there's hazard light switch through to this crash alarm module, which will put the hazard lights on in the case of any crashes or alarms, and that then passes a signal through into this. Now that we know that one's working, this one might be playing up, or it might be the switch inside. Well, it looks like I've got it, and unfortunately we didn't really get that on camera. So after going with the hazard light switch, hitting that one again, we still got the fast click. But after pushing out the hazard light switch, I had to get the gear gator up and then push him from the bottom and he pops out the top, we started getting it working normally. So we would have had bad contacts around on this pin. I don't know if we can wiggle this around a little bit. Oh, there we go. You can hear him going crazy. So we've got bad contacts at here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open this up and clean out our pins. There's our switch pulled out, and you can see our connections. So we only have 4 contacts going in to the loom. There is 5 pins on the switch, but I can see a little bit of green there on the top left pin, and also inside of those contacts is looking a little bit cloudy as well. So let's give those a clean up and see if it gets a bit more reliable. That seems to be it. All I did was I cleaned that up with a bit of deoxit on one of these little swabs into those pins, and everything is now working as it should. We don't have any of the craziness going on from wiggling this switch anymore. It all seems nice and solid. So yeah, a bit of a misdiagnosis on my part of that indicator relay. I was hoping to find something interesting inside, but if you are having issues with your hazard flasher relay, that's how you can get inside of them. Things to check, things to clean up, and resolder some contacts if you have some issues. So don't rule it out. It might be something that you might need to do on yours. Turns out in my one it was something else, a little bit simpler, even though it might have been a little bit harder to track down. I wouldn't have thought of this switch first off, but we got to the end of it and we have sorted it out. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.